Chapter 26 Results. Dr. Marcacius was in the living room writing something down on the paper when I entered the Robbinsog-The next day. What are you doing? I asked. Making the keep out sign, Doctor Marcacius said. Just lock the door. I'm going to do both. Okay. I am finished with making it now. Dr. Marcacius then opened the front door and then put some tape on each of the corners of the paper, and then he posted it on the front and locked the door. To a room, said Doctor Marcacius. We then went to your room and Dr. Marcacius shut the door there. Tell me what you found, said Doctor Marcacius. Well, if I tell you everything, you'll be here forever. I'm just going to tell you the hypothesis, I said. Fine. Now, I'm going to check in on you at the end to make sure that every statement I make to make sure that you know what's going on. Fine. If that is a super good idea, because I really need to have my mind in the right place to think about this. I will say something at the end of each of your thoughts that you are going to turn into words. Now, please begin. So, when a woman is pregnant, everything weakens inside her body. So when George popped out, she was still pretty weak. Yep, I get that because of all those hormones. So I think when George popped out, she was so tired because we were all natural births that she tumbled off the bed when she fell asleep when she gave birth to George. Mom gave birth to us in her bedroom and she fell asleep from exhaustion after each of us, so I do believe that. When she landed on her spine, and that is what gave her mobility and mental issues. Is that all? Well, that is my entire hypothesis, but that is not all. So what do you have left to talk about? Dr. Marcacius asked. The answers to questions you are going to ask me now, I answered. What was the point of you rolling off Mom and Dad's bed yesterday? To we simulate what happened to Mom. Why? To see if landing on the floor like that can cripple someone. I am feeling the floor right now. I feel like the thick carpet could break a fall. There is a difference, though. What is it? Kick and punch the floor. Dr. Marcacius then did as I said. Yeah, that actually does kind of hurt, said Dr. Marcacius. Also, look at the beds in this room, I said. Yeah, what about them? Look at the height of the top of the mattresses from the ground. It appears to be about 1.5 feet from the ground. Now, let's go to Mom and Dad's room. We then did just that, and heard no knocking at the door coming from George trying to get in, so our security system is working. Now, look at the height of the top of the mattress to the floor in here, I said. I watched Dr. Marcacius do just that. It appears to be about 6 inches higher than in our room, Dr. Marcacius asked. Exactly, I said. So, you think difference can change matters? Yes. Let's head back to our room. And then I think I'm going to ask you about counter-evidence, which I want to see if you can debunk. I am also not trying to argue to enforce the idea that my point is right. If you debunk it, we can move on. Okay. We then went back to our room. Are you ready? Dr. Marcacius asked. Yes, I answered. How come you didn't bleed yesterday, period? Again, it was because I was not the one who was just pregnant. How do you think Mom would have been able to bleed that much? Because she just gave a natural birth, and I'm sure there was blood coming out of her hoo-ha. So let me ask you this. Do you think that blood that stained the carpet all came directly from her back? No, some of it could have come from down there. Do you remember the time George was dropped by Dad on his bed and then he fell on the ground? He wasn't dropped, he was thrown, but go on, I said. Why is he not damaged? Like how Mom is? Because I would think that would be higher, meaning more dangerous, Dr. Marcacius asked. Because the bed broke his fall. And again, his bed is closer to the ground. Explain how. Easy, he landed on his bed first and then he tumbled off. Debunk the term tumbled off. You know why. It was the height difference. The reason Mom got hurt worse was because of the height difference. Dr. Marcacius then shut one of his eyes and made a look at the other one, and made a look with the other one like he was thinking kind of hard. It appears to me that the difference between the height of our beds and Mom and Dad's bed is about 6 inches, said Dr. Marcacius. Those 6 inches can make a world of difference, I said. So why was George still bleeding when his fall was broken? Because of the force and he was weaker too? Explain how that's different. Follow along with me. I always do. What caused the bleeding was the fabric and the carpet burn, and that is what turned my back red when I fell. Yes? The bleeding from George was not caused by him landing on the floor. It was caused by the impact of the fabric on the bed hitting his back first and scraping him. Yes? If George fell off the bed, and just the bed, his back would have been red and bruised like how mine was, but he wouldn't be bleeding. Mom was bleeding from the back because of how out of whack her body was for just being pregnant, and she didn't have carpet burn because the truth was she was naked. Defend the soft carpet causing something like this one more time, said Dr. Marcacius. The floor is hard beneath the carpet, and since we live in a high-rise, they probably need to use the hardest material imaginable. Plus, rub your feet or hands across the carpet, punch or kick the carpet like before. Dr. Marcacius then rubbed his feet across the carpet. Okay, now I believe you about this, said Dr. Marcacius. Good, I said. Now, I have one more question before I approve your hypothesis. What is it? Why didn't Mom and Dad buy a new bed frame, resulting in them sleeping less high when this happened? Because they don't like replacing things, and they did replace the mattress because who wants to sleep in a bed that a woman gave birth in? Then I hit Dr. Marcacius like a ton of bricks. That is why they moved the bed frame, which resulted in the mattress being out of center, Dr. Marcacius cried. 2 words. Hypothesis approved, I said. You are correct. Dr. Marcacius then banged the bottom of his cane with it, which is his system he uses, like a gavel. Before I unlock the door to Robbinsog, there were a few things I want to discuss with you, said Dr. Marcacius. Go ahead, I said. Was the reason why you didn't want George here because he was the one because we were talking about his birth, so you didn't want him to feel responsible? That is correct. Second, do you think I should tell Hannah about this? You can, because I know you've told her a lot about the return already. Okay, I said. Dr. Marcacius and I went to leave her room. And then Dr. Marcacius opened the door, and the rest of the family was out there and they were not happy. How are you? Dr. Marcacius asked with a smile. Let's have a little chit-chat on the couch. All 5 of us, said our mom. I and Dr. Marcacius and George all sat on the couch while our mom and dad took out their recliners. Sup? I said with a smile on my face. We're now hit with a $300 cleaning bill, said our Dad. Do you know why? Our Mom asked. No. No. Why? Dr. Marcacius said. Your brother wet his pants in the hallway, said our Dad. Are you serious? Dr. Marcacius asked. Yes, George said with embarrassment. George, you seriously couldn't have gone across the street in the library? Dr. Marcacius asked. No. No, and you were paying for it because you were the one who locked him out, said her Mom. I literally was restraining Dr. Marcacius from getting up and punching George at this point. Let him go, said her Dad. No, he's going to punch George, I said. Marcus, if you don't want to have to talk about this now, go to your room and come out when you calm down, said our Dad. Marcus then went to his room and he came out with his red cloak on 2 seconds later. No, Marcus, this is my Mom was saying before she interrupted. Marcus then threw something and the room filled up with smoke, but it went away several seconds later. Here, he's gone, said he's gone, said our Mom when the smoke cleared. Valerie, do you want me to go after him? I really don't think you should. I really don't think you should, I said. My parents then stared at me. What makes you think you are the one in charge? Dad asked. I can't tell you, I said. Our parents then sighed. And then my dad began to talk to me, and I could tell he was feeling upset right now in a neutral way.